Hi guys, it's Michelle from the Choice of Motherhood. I'm going to be doing a video on how to find a donor. This is going to be done in two different videos. One is going to be how to find a known donor, and the other one is going to be how to choose a donor from a sperm bank. So this one's going to be the one about how to find a donor as a known donor. So I just want to say, first of all, check out your laws. Depending on what country you're in, what province, territory, state, whatever county, make sure you know your laws. Because it varies so much with known donors, depending on what parental rights the donor will have as the father, and also what rights as the mother you would have and whatnot. So really check into your laws. For me, in where I am, the law basically states that at any time I could go after the donor for child support, and at any time the donor could come after me for custody. So that's regardless of contracts and whatnot. So definitely risk involved, but that's why it's so important to know your laws, so that way you know what risks there are and what you're willing, if you're willing to take those risks with a known donor. Make sure you have a contract. Where I live, contracts basically mean nothing. With or without a contract, there's the risks. We did do a contract, but we didn't involve a lawyer. We chose not to because with or without a lawyer, it means the same. So we did one for peace of mind and to know expectations of each other. Beyond that, we didn't really need a lawyer. But if you check your laws, and if you need a lawyer, make sure you have one. Make sure that contract's legal, and so that way if anything does come up, there's no issues. Okay, so known donors. Sorry, I have a lists. So first off, most known donors are friends. Friends of the family, someone you met that happens to want to donate, someone that you know, obviously not family, at least not genetic family, so friends. That one is a little weird for me personally. One, I don't have anyone that I would want to donate. The exception being, if you watch my surrogacy video, I have been looking into traditional surrogacy, so therefore my surrogate would be my egg donor, and she's a friend, which I'm not sure I'm 100% comfortable with that yet, but anyway, that's off topic. Anyway, so friend for a sperm donor, make sure you know how much you want them involved, how much they want to be involved. If they want to co-parent, that's totally different than them wanting no contact. So make sure you sit down, you know exactly what your expectations are of each other, and go from there. Especially if you're in the same city, it gets a little more awkward than different states or different countries. So that's one way, is through as a friend. Another way is through like Craigslist or something similar. I wouldn't really, or there's other websites, I wouldn't really recommend that. Me personally, I find that a little creepy, that people post on there. Also, like, you really don't know what you're getting into with them. I don't know. It's a way that you can find a donor, but I personally wouldn't recommend that way. The other way is known donor registry, which is how I found my donor. I think it's a good combination of, it's kind of like a bank in the terms of that it's a list and it's all on one website, but it's also like not like Craigslist and stuff. It's kind of like that because it's more listed, but I don't know, I feel more comfortable with it. So there's lots of people on there. Canada has fewer, but there is definitely a lot still. Fewer that ship than do in person. The US seems to have tons. So if you're in the States, you can probably find a known donor on there really quickly. A couple things with there, again, make sure you have contracts. If they're in a different state or country than you are, make sure that you know the laws for there as well. Shipping across borders, like country borders, I would be a little weary of, just because I'm not sure laws with importing, especially coming from the States to Canada, because Canada has very strict regulations on sperm. So I would be a little weary of that. Obviously, if you're meeting up with someone and they're crossing a border, not a big deal, because it's in them still, or if you're going to a different country, you're getting it put in you and then leaving. So contracts, make sure you have contracts. STDs, make sure that they have an STD clearance, just something recent. Maybe have them get retested every so often. If they're an experienced donor, they will have all that stuff, because they're used to having requests. Same with contracts. They're used to signing contracts. They know what's going on. If they're a newer donor, definitely you want to make sure, even if you use a friend, you want to have those STD clearances, like STD checks. Another thing is reported pregnancies. If you're using a friend, maybe they do have 1 or 2 children already. Maybe they don't have any. Therefore, if they don't have any, you don't know what their sperm counts are and mobility and whatnot. On the known donor registry, you may have a donor that has 100 kids that they've donated for, like donor kids, which you may or may not be comfortable with. I think with using a friend, you kind of have more, not really control over how many donor kids they end up having, but you definitely will know more than with known donor registry. I think with known donor registry, you're guaranteed that you won't know how many children that they have out there. So you need to be able to be comfortable with that. I don't know how many kids my donor has, and honestly, I don't care, because the more that he has, the more proven the sperm is, and therefore I am more comfortable knowing that it's proven than knowing that there's fewer kids. Also, if you also shows experience and the fact that they're not going to want custody of the children if they have more, because who wants to have custody of 100 kids? And also, they're taking a risk because you can go after them for child support, but if you're going after them for child support, they're going to end up wanting custody. I'm obviously wanting to raise this child on my own, and therefore have no intentions whatsoever to go after anyone for child support. But yeah, so the reported pregnancies, just so that depends on what you're comfortable with. If you want lower amounts of children, or if you want to have more of like a guarantee. Especially I find with shipping, when I was trying to find someone to ship to me, the reported pregnancies really came into effect because I need to make sure that the shipment would last. There's some that are experienced in shipping, some that are not. I had one donor that's more local to me, and he doesn't do shipping. And I emailed him or messaged him on the known donor registry and just asked, hey, do you mind if you can ship? And he said, no, I'm not comfortable with that. So I thought that was great to know that he wasn't comfortable with shipping. Whereas the donor that I ended up working with, I'm still working with him, does shipping regularly, so he knows what he's doing. And also it obviously works because I just had a chemical pregnancy, so even though chemical sucks, at least I know that the sperm lived for like forever because it was takes a while to ship plus ovulation. But anyway, so there are a couple ways to get the sperm. There's what's called natural insemination, which is basically sex. I wouldn't choose that method because legally that is the most worst legal possible thing ever, because basically they consider that as a relationship because you're having sex with a person. So also I feel like that's just, I don't know, just not right. To have that person as a donor through there. that way. Then there's artificial insemination, which can be done through shipping or in person. Sometimes people will rent hotel rooms or whatever, or meet up somewhere if they're living in the same city. Basically, donor donates into a cup and then passes it off, and then you inseminate. Or in terms of shipping, donor does their business. They add, I can't remember the exact word for it. If I can figure it out, I'll write it somewhere here. Egg something. But they add that to it to make it last longer, and then package it all up and ship it off. If you watch my home insemination video, I have a clip of it in there. Actually, I'll just insert a clip here, just make it easier. So this is how it's shipped. All I've done is I've removed like the shipping package bubble bag thing, and I cut the box so I can open it. So it's just shipped in a box, lots of duct tape, and then the donor duct tapes, cooler, like freezer packs to the actual vial. And that's all that's there to it. Alright, so that's the box that the donor ships. That's my donor. Different donors ship differently, but that's just how mine does it. Some will do like styrofoam to keep it safe and whatnot, but anyway, that's how my donor ships. So with known donors, there's a lot of risk, but I think it's also, for me personally, better because I don't pay anything other than shipping and supplies. If you're using like a sperm bank donor, the cost can get pretty high really quickly. With the donor I'm currently using, for me, I can do something like 10-15 cycles before I hit one cycle with a sperm bank, like cost-wise. So, and also, so it's just better for me, especially when I don't have to worry really about risks or anything because he's shipping. I feel like it's safer for me than meeting up, especially because I don't have a partner, so I don't have someone. If I had a partner, he could come with me and therefore kind of make me feel more safe, but I don't, so it would literally just be me. So I'd rather just, the shipping makes me feel more comfortable, also makes me feel more disconnected, so like the donor does whatever he needs to do and I don't need to really know about it beyond getting the package in the mail. Also with the known donor, I'll insert a picture here of the vial of the known donor versus the vial of the sperm bank donor. The vial with the known donor is significantly larger than with a sperm bank. So not only do you pay less, you get more, which allows more flexibility. If you watch my home insemination video, you'll see like how many little inseminations I do with one vial, which if I only was using a sperm bank donor, I really wouldn't get very far. Also with the known donor, there's more flexibility in terms of how to ship it. I don't have to have it shipped to a doctor, and it can be shipped by Purelator, UPS, FedEx, Canada Post, if you're in Canada. Anything, any way you want it to be shipped, you can get it shipped. Versus with a sperm bank donor, there's a lot less flexibility. However, with the known donor, you have to, if you're doing shipping, or even if you're not doing shipping, your timing has to be pretty close to ovulation, either when the shipment is arriving or when the donor and you are meeting up. Because there's not that flexibility of timing like you do with a sperm bank donor, because they're not frozen in a cryo tank thing. so there's a lot less flexibility there. But having used both, if I was doing like through IUI at a clinic or IVF or something, I would be going with sperm bank, just because not a lot of REs will let you use, sorry, my talk, not a lot of REs will let you use known donors. If they do, there's like 6-month waiting period and whatnot. They basically treat it as someone that's donating for a sperm bank, and they make them freeze it, go through all this testing. It's not as easy as doing home inseminations. But so I hope that gave you more information about finding a known donor and details about it, and I will film the next one soon. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.